So now we know that key business questions, or KBQs, help companies develop better and more meaningful and useful data sets. They allow businesses to focus on the issues that management needs addressed to improve performance. Like with most things, there are right and wrong ways to go about creating your KBQs. In this lesson, I would like to outline 6 simple steps that you can follow to develop great KBQs for your organization. Step number 1, start with strategy. KBQs should derive from your strategy. Once you have clarified your strategic objectives, you can start developing KBQs. My suggestion is to design between 1 and 3 KBQs for each strategic objective. Obviously, the fewer KBQs, the better, because every KBQ will trigger new data needs, and the whole idea is to help you focus on the data for your most important and strategic information needs. So, for example, if a company defines that one of their strategic objectives is to improve market share for product X, management really needs to think which are the key business questions that, when answered, will help them improve decision making. You could ask so many different questions when it comes to improving market share, such as, what are some of the key trends in the market? What is our market share? Who are our main competitors? Which of our products have an upward or downward trend in the market? Will there still be demand for service X in 5 years? How do we best price our products and services? What marketing and sales channels are most effective? And so on. If we report data related to all of these questions, chances of getting confused increase significantly. We need to go back to our objective, which is improve market share for product X. So, the first KBQ to be answered is, to what extent are we growing our relative market share for product X? And then we can continue with this analysis by searching the answers to a question like, what are the key factors that make customers buy from us versus our competitors? Always remember, it is far too easy to come up with a whole host of questions, and this is why some time needs to be taken to identify which question you really need answering. What is it you need to know in order to make better informed decisions? Alright, great. Let's continue with step number 2. Engage people in the KBQ design. Key business questions should not be designed in the boardroom alone. Designing KBQs is a great opportunity to engage a wider group of people in the organization, as well as some external stakeholders. Try to involve people in the process and ask them what questions they would see as most relevant. Once you've designed a list of KBQs, take this back to the subject matter experts or different parts within and outside the organization to collect feedback. For example, take the KBQs that relate to marketing back to the marketing department to discuss and refine. Remember that KBQs communicate to everyone what really matters in the organization. And the more people understand and agree with these questions, the more likely it is that everyone will be pulling in the same direction. In our example about growing market share, management could ask different functions in the company about the questions they need answers to improve relative market share. Then, this list of questions can really serve as the backbone that would allow you to define the questions that need to be answered. Third, try to phrase your KBQs as open questions. Questions can be delivered in 2 types, closed questions and open questions. These 2 types of questions are very different in character, usage, and response. A closed question seeks a short and specific response that can be provided by either a single word or a short phrase. Questions that can be answered with either yes or no are generally closed questions. Closed questions are easy to answer and often seek simple facts: what, when, where. They are closed because the control of the conversation remains with the questioner. Here are some examples of closed questions. Are our customers satisfied? What is the market share of product X? What is our profit margin? An open question, on the other hand, opens the door to the respondent and seeks an open-ended response. Open questions invite the respondent to think and reflect and provide explanations and express opinions and feelings. Open questions start with a word such as what, why, how, or describe. With open-ended questions, the questioner hands control to the respondent. Here are some examples of open questions. What drives customer satisfaction? To what extent are we improving our market share of product X? What are the best ways to improve our profit margins? Closed questions, such as have we met our budget, can be answered with a simple yes or no, without any further discussion or explanation on the issue. However, if we ask an open question, such as how well are we managing our budget, the question triggers a wider search for answers and seeks more than a yes or no response. Open questions make us reflect, they engage our brains to a much greater extent, and they invite explanations and ignite discussion and dialogue. Whenever possible, KBQs should be phrased as open questions. Very good, we're almost there. Step number 4. Focus your KBQs on the present and the future. Questions should be phrased in a way that addresses the present or the future. To what extent are we increasing our market share? Instead of questions, did we increase our market share? By focusing on the present or the future, we open up a dialogue that allows us to do something about it. We then look at the data in a different way and try to understand what the data and management information means for the future. This helps with the interpretation of the data and ensures we collect indicators that help to inform our decision making. Step number 5. Keep your KBQs short and clear. A good KBQ is relatively short, clear, and unambiguous. A KBQ should only contain one question. We often produce a string of questions, which makes it much harder to guide meaningful and focused data collection. The language should be clear and not contain any jargon or abbreviations that non-experts or external people might not understand. Likewise, try to stay away from management buzzwords and ensure that the question is easy to understand and uses language that people in your organization are comfortable with, understand, and use. And finally, step number 6, refine your KBQs by using them. Once KBQs have been created, it is worth waiting to see what answers come back. For example, how well the data is providing answers to the questions, and how well the KBQs help people make better informed decisions and facilitate the right discussion. Once they are in use, it is possible to refine them to improve the focus even more. Hope this video was useful. We define 6 best practices that should help you a great deal when formulating key business questions for your organization. Thanks for watching.